at question 1. Number 3.14063 corrected 3 decimal places. As you know, a 2 decimal is 0. We look at the 4th one, which is 6. 6 is more than 5, so you add 1 to the 0 to become 1. So it's 3.141. Right, number 2, what percentage of 40 is 8? As you know, it's 8 over 40 by 100. 8 into 40 is 5, and 1/5 as a percent is 20%. And that is B. Number 3, using the distributed property, 49 by 17 plus 49 by 3, we pull out what is common, which is your 49, and you mean with what? 17, add 3 in brackets, and 17 add 3 is 20, come like 49 by 20, that is A. The next term in the sequence, 1, 6, 13, 22, 33 is, you see difference between 1 and 6 is 5, difference between 6 and 13 is 7, difference between 30 and 22 is 9, difference between 22 and 33 is 11, and because the differences are going in twos, you know, we can add 2 to 11 to get you 13, where you add 13 to the 33, and you get 46, which is C. Number 5, 0.45 written as a common fraction, its lowest form is, essentially just say the 45, put it over 100, because you know it's 2 decimal places, and we can say 5 into 45, 9, 5 into 100, 20, simple, you know, A. All right, you can see it's 2018 below here. All right, number 6, and certain amount of money shared in the ratio 2 to 3 to 9. If the difference between the first and second shares is 40, then the amount of money shared is, okay, so first and second shares, you can see the difference. 3 minus 2 is 1 share, and 1 share will be equivalent to $40 because the money representative of that is 40. So total amount of money will be what? If you add all the shares together, 2 add 3 add 9 will get you 14 shares. So you multiply 14 by 40, they get you 560 in all. That's D. Number 7, which of the following sets is equivalent to A, B, C, D? Equivalent sets generally, they will have the same number of members. Okay, it's not about being equal, but having the same number of members. And the only answer to that is C, where you have 4 members here, just like how A, B, C, D is 4 members, right? So C is your answer. Number 8, refer to the following Venn diagram. Shaded region represents what? You can see everywhere is shaded but P. And that will give us the answer A, which is P complement. You're not really seeing it there, but it's there. The slash represents the complement of the set, which would mean everything that belongs to, you know, around P. Okay? So easy answer there. Number 9, refer to the following Venn diagram H and V. H, students who play hockey. V, students who play volleyball. Use these students who play games. Number of students in each set is shown. How many students do not play volleyball? Well, the students who do not play volleyball will be those who do not belong to the circle or the set containing volleyball members, right? So it'll be what? 5 add 3. They are outside of the volleyball circle to give you 8. Okay, so that's D as in dog. Number 10, Q is equal to ABC. How many subsets can be obtained from the set Q? The number of subsets is given by 2 to the power n, where n is the number of members. You have 3 members, so it's 2 to the power 3. Okay, so that is C. Number 11, refer to the following information. P is prime numbers, Q is a set of odd numbers, R is a set of even numbers. Which of the following sets is empty? Okay, the reason why D is the answer with Q intersect R, because there are no members that are both odd and even. In other words, there are no members that are common to both Q and R. Either you're odd or you're even, not both. So D is your answer. Number 12, if P and Q are 2 sets where N of P union Q is 13, N of P intersect Q is 6, N of P is 9, then N of Q is. We all know the formula where, you know, N of Q add N of P, subtract N of P, intersect Q. Sorry about that there. Could be better. Equal to N of P union Q. So N of Q we don't know. We could call it Y for now. N of P is 9. So it's Y at 9 minus N of P intersect Q would have been 6. So minus 6 equal what? 13. So as we all know, 6 minus 9 is 3. Y at 3 is 13. Carry the 3 across. It'll be 13 minus 3, which is 10. That is B. Number 13, mass taxable income is 20,000. He pays tax at the rate of 28%. The amount of income tax he pays is simple. You just find 20% of 20,000 be 28 over 100 by 20,000. Cross out two zeros, top and bottom. You remain with 200 by 28 to give you 5,600. That is C. Number 40, a man's basic wage for 40-hour week is $160. He's paid $5 per hour for overtime. If he works 6.5 hours overtime in a certain week, his wage for that week is, okay, no problem. Well, overtime wage is the first thing we need to work out. It'll be $5, which is the overtime hourly rate, by 6.5. And when you multiply that, you get $32.50. You then add that to your 160, which is the basic wage. You get a total of $192.50. D as in dog there. All right, 15 is 6 TT equivalent to 1 US, then 15 TT in US is. As you know, converting a smaller currency to a larger currency, you divide by the exchange rate. I'm going to divide 15 by 6. That'll be 2.5 or 2.5 US dollars. So, $2.50 US, that is C. 16, the annual interest rate on a 15-year-old mortgage on a house assessed at a value $450,000 is 5 cents on every dollar. What is the interest paid on the mortgage for the first year? So all we had to do, is put the 5 cents over 100 cents, going not dollars, 100 cents. So it's 5 over 100 by 450,000. Could cross out the two zeros, top and bottom. You'll get 4,500 by 5. And working it out, you get 22,500. That is B. 17. Mary invested $200 for 5 years at 5% per annum. John invested $500 at the same rate. If they both received the same amount of money in simple interest, for how many years did John invest his money? We know the formula for simple interest is principal by rate by time over 100. So would Mary be 200 by 5 again over 100, and that's equal to the same simple interest gained by John. So with John, it'll be what? 500 by 5, because it is the same percent. Okay, as you can see here, it's at the same rate, so it's by same 5%. By the number of years, y, which we do not know, over 100. The hundreds will cancel out. The 5s could cancel out if we want. Or we could just work it through. 200 by 5 by 5, 5,000. Okay, the hundreds cancel out, equal to 500 by 5. That's what, 2,500 by y. Divide 5,000 by 2,500, you get 2 years. That is A. 18, salesman sells a car for 11,000. He's paid a commission of 4.5% for the first 10,000 and 7.5% on the remainder. Then the commission he receives is. So we're going to find 4.5 of 10,000. So it's 4.5 over 100 by 10,000. You'll get $450. When you cross all your zeros, you'll get 100 by 4.5. Move the point 2 places to your right, you'll get 450. And then you find 7.5% on the remainder. The remainder will be 1,000, because remember it's 11,000 in all. So 11,000 minus 10,000 is 1,000. So it's 7.5 over 100 by 1,000. Cross out two zeros, top and bottom, you get 7.5 by 10. That means move your point 1 place to your right, you get $75. What we do after that is that we add both of them, and you will get $525. That's B. The maths paper 1 exam is like right there. And if you truly want to solidify that 1 in maths, you should try to get your hands on the mathematics multiple choice booklet that termed as Future Questions with CSEC. You for sure will be able to guarantee yourself a great and excellent chance in doing well in that paper 1 exam. Number 19, television set costs $350 cash. When bought on hire purchase, a deposit of $35 is required, followed by 12 monthly payments of $30. How much is saved by paying cash? Your hire purchase will be deposit plus your monthly installment by the number of months. So it's $35 plus 12 by 30. 360 add 35, that's 395. And the amount saved is basically your higher purchase price subtract your cash price. At 395 minus 350, you get your $45. That's D. Number 20, Mr. Jones bought a car for $64,000. Car depreciated by 20% in the first year and 10% each of the following years. Value of the car at the end of the second year was. So first thing we're going to do is work out depreciation for the first year. It'll be 20%, that's 20 over 100 by 64,000. If we do cross out the first two zeros, top and bottom, you get 20 by 640 to get 12,800. And because you're depreciating, you have to subtract that 12,800 from your 64,000 to get 51,200. In the second year, you will find now, as I say here, 10% of the 51,200, and you just basically drop a zero. You get 5,120. Subtract that back from the 51,200, and you will get an answer 46,080. So you can see this question really takes some working. It's one of those questions to slow you down, but just keep at it. All right, keep at it. 21, 1 on 5x plus 2 on 3x. LCM of 5x and 3x is 15x. And I could say 5x into 15x is 3. 3 by 1 is 3. 3x into 15x is 5. 5 by 2 is 10. 3 add 10 is 13 over 15x. That's D. 22. If 5 open bracket 2x minus 1 is 35, x is what? Seeing it here, 5 by 2x is 10x minus 5 by 1 is 5 equal 35. Carry the minus 5 across, become plus 5. 35 add 5 is 40. Then you divide 40 by 10, you get 4. That's D. 23. 3x squared by 2x cubed equals what? 3 2s are 6, and you add the powers on top. Sorry if you may not be seeing it, but the power here, 2 add 3 is 5, okay? And therefore you give your 6x to the power 5. Remember, you add your indices when you multiply, okay? So let's make the screen a little bigger for you all. I'm given a 3 asterisk 6 is 12, 2 asterisk 5 is 9, then A asterisk B may be defined as, well, going through everything, the answer is D. I could prove the answer is D, okay? If we start with this one, with 2A plus B, all right? As you know, 3 asterisk equal 12. A will come like 3, and B would be what? 6, all right? Using this formula, 2A plus B, what will that give us? It'll be 2 by what? 3, add B, which is 6, that'll be 12, I'd say that's, and basically, I mean, 6 add 6, that'll give you 12, sorry, which is the answer here. With 2 asterisk 5, using the same formula, 2A plus B, it will be what? 2 by 8, that's 2 by 2. Add B, B is what? 5 this time, that's what? 4 add 5 is 9, which is the answer. So the formula here does check out. The others will not work. And this is really one that could slow you down. Again, we need to be, focused. Let's keep at it and we will get it. All right, keep at it. Once you start entering, realize you're not working, move on to the next one. D is the answer, okay? So 25, when 8 is subtracted from a certain number and the result is multiplied by 3, the answer is 21. What is the original number? Well, you can see here, when 8 is subtracted from a number, let's say let the number be x, it'll be x minus 8, and then the result is multiplied by 3 here to get you 21. What we could do is shortcut. You can divide 21 by 3, because if 3 is multiplied by everything here, carry it across, opposite multiplies divide, or division. 21 divided by 3 is 7. And we'll get x minus 8 is 7. Carry the minus 8 across. You get 7, add 8 to get you 15. That's D. 26. If x equal minus 2, y equal 3, t equal 2, then x on y to the power t is, this pure substitution. What will this give us? It'll be what? Minus 2 over 3 to the power 2. Minus 2 squared is 4. 3 squared is 9. So 4 and 9, that's B. 27 to 28 refer to the following two matrices P and Q, which we could see here. What's the order matrix Q? As you will know, orders in number of rows by number of columns. You have 3 rows by 4 columns, so it's 3 by 4. A. Determinant of P is, As you know, the determinant is AD minus BC. In other words, it's your first diagonal minus your second. That'll be 8 by 5 minus 6 by 7. 8 5s are 40 minus 6 7s are 42. 40 minus 42 is minus 2. That's B. 29. Vectors P and Q are 3, 2, and minus 1, 4. Respectively, then P minus 2Q is. So with here, simply put, I have 3 minus 2 by minus 1. And then below I have what? 2 minus 2 by 4. So this come like 3 add 2, come minus 1 minus is a plus. So 3 add 2 give 5. And here will be 2 minus 8, which is minus 6. So that's E. Item 34 in parallelogram WXYZ. In the parallelogram, R is the midpoint of XY. You can see there, wasn't the best drawing here, but you know. Based on the information above, vector ZR is. So ZR, which is this, come like ZY plus YR. And what is ZY? ZY is parallel to WX. Okay? There's no answer here with ZY, so we have to interpret it otherwise. ZY come like WX. So it's WX plus YR. What is YR? That come like half of YX. And that come like what? YX is parallel to ZW. So YR being half of YX will come like half of ZW. Because ZW and YX is the same thing. The same vector, okay? So it'll be plus half of what? ZW. However, there's no ZW here. So putting it in terms of WZ, ZW is minus WZ. So you have minus a half WZ here. So you can see ZR is WX minus a half WZ. That's E. Very tricky question, must say. 31, refer to the different diagrams of a square and a rectangle. Okay, which of the following statements is true about the perimeter of the square and the rectangle? Sure. So what's the perimeter of the square? 12 by 4, right? Each side is equal. That's 48 meters. What's the perimeter of the rectangle? It would be length plus breadth by 2, right? So it's 9 add 16, which is 25, by 2 is 15 meters. So you can see the perimeter of A is less than the perimeter of B. That's D. 32, 3800 millimeters expressed in meters is, hey, 1,000 millimeters make a meter, so you just divide by 1,000, so you move the point. I know you must be saying, well, we're not seeing a point. You assume the point is at the end, when there's a whole number. So you move the point 3 places to your left, and you'll get 3.8, okay? 3.8 meters, that's B. Distance around the edge of a circular pond is 88 meters. Radius in meters is, all right. So we know circumference is 2 pi r. So 88 is 2 by pi by r. And what r would be? 88 divided by 2 pi. 88 divided by 2 pi. And that's the answer there, D. Item 34 refer to the following figure which shows a triangle resting on a square. And it's saying here the length of one side of the square is 5 cm. Height of the triangle is 4. What's the total area of the figure? Well, we had to get the area of the triangle, area of the square. The area of the triangle is what? Height by base over 2. So that'd be what? 4 by 5, because remember the base of the triangle is on the square, which we all know each side is the same, which for the square, which is 5 cm. So it's 4 by 5 over 2, that's 20 on 2 is 10 cm squared. Area of the square is what? Side by side, that's 5 by 5 is 25 cm squared. Total area will be 10 at 25, 35 cm squared, that's E. 35, volume cm cube of edge 3 cm is. Volume of a cube is side by side by side. 3 by 3 by 3, you get 27 cm cube, right? C. 36. Area of a rectangle is 53.6 cm squared. If the length is multiplied by 4 and the width is half, then the area would then be what? Well, length by width is 53.6. And for the new rectangle, since the length is multiplied by 4 is 4L, and since the width is half, is W on 2. And 4 by a half is 2. So it's 2 by L by W. And what's L by W? 53.6. So you come like 2 by 53.6. That gives you 107.2 cm squared. C. 37. On leaving Trinidad, the time on a pilot's watch was $2,300. When you arrive at his destination in the same time zone on the next day, his watch showed 3 hours. How many hours did the flight take? Well, then I would say Army time, right? 2,300 come like 11 p.m. and it's come like 3 a.m. We know 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. that's 4 hours, okay? There's no big maths there, so that's A. 38, refer the following diagram, a trapezium, area trapezium, straightforward. We only form a half A plus B by height. That's half of what? 8 plus 18. Your height is 5. 8 at 18, that'd be 26. And, half of 26 is 13. Then 13 by 5, that's 65 cm squared. That's B. Item 39 to 40, refer to the following Instagram. It shows the number of children aged 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 who took part in a survey. What was the modal age? As you all know with mode, that refers to the value that has the highest frequency. The highest frequency or the highest number of children, we call it 5, which contributes to that age of 7 years. Okay, so 7 is the modal age. C. How many children took part in the survey? We could add each figure or each frequency value. That's what? 3, add 4, add 2, add 5, add 1. Very straightforward. That's what? 7, 9, 14, and 1, 15 children. B. Now 41, median of the numbers. It's already in ascending order. All right. So, we could cross out coming in. And, when coming in, you come down to 2 numbers in the middle. Okay. And the 2 middle numbers, you find the average of them, 6 add 7. Okay. That'd be 13. And then you divide 13 by 2 for its average. You get 6.5. That is B. By the way, the crossing out is slash for slash. So it's one slash here with another. All right. I'll just briefly show you. Just don't want to confuse things. So it's this with this. And you keep on coming in. As you know, this way it starts unblocking the figures. So that's why. And that's how you mean with these 2 middle numbers. So for now, I will just get rid of the slashes there. Okay, cool. So moving on, let's 42. When 3 coins are tossed simultaneously, possible outcomes, you could see them, where each represents head, 2 represents tail. What is the probability of randomly obtaining at least 2 heads? So 2 heads would mean 2 and more. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 out of how much? 8 total possible outcomes, right? If you count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 4, which is the number of chances of it occurring over total possible outcomes of 8. And that could reduce 4 and 8 is a half, right? So C is the answer. 43, 600 students write an exam. Probability of a randomly selected student failing the exam is 1/5. Okay, how many students are expected to pass? First thing I want to say, probability of passing would be 4 and 5. How? Total probability is 1. 1 minus a fifth is 4 and 5. Okay, because either pass or fail. Okay, so it'll be 4 and 5. And then multiply by the total number of students of 600. 5 into 60 is 12, with the 0 make it 120. 120 by 4 is 480. B. 44 refers to the following diagram, which shows the cumulative frequency polygon of the lengths in meters of 20 fish that are caught by 2 fishermen. The cumulative frequency and length in meters of the fish. Interquartile range of the lengths of the fish is. So you want the IQR. IQR is Q3 minus Q1. Q3 is your upper quartile. which is the value corresponding to when you have 3/4 of the frequency. Okay, total amount of fish we did read is 20. See, 20 fish. So 3/4 of 20 will give you 15. And you look for 15. Go across and come down. So it's between 3.5 and 4. Let's say 3.75. And then you have Q1, which is your lower quartile, which value accounts for 1/4 of the frequency. 1/4 of 20 is 5. And you look for 5. Go across and come down. That's between 1 and 1.5. So that's what, 1.25 on average. So your IQR will be what? Q3 minus Q1 will be your 3.75. Subtract your 1.25. Get 2.5 meters. That's C. 45, which I find diagram best illustrates a function. Now, a function could be either a one-to-one mapping or a many-to-one mapping. Okay? With this one, you could see it's a many-to-one, sorry. Many-to-one mapping. And yeah, B is your answer. This is one-to-many. That's incorrect. All right? So, and we could see that. All right? (46) The equation of the line which passes through the point 0, 5 and has a gradient of 4 is. Now, in a case like this, y equal mx plus c. We all know m is 4 and your y-intercept is 5. So it's y equal 4x plus 5. That's C, okay? 47, the gradient inequality in the diagram defined by, well, because the circle is clear, it's either, well, in reality, I just mean it's either less than or more than. But in this case, because the arrow is going to your left, it'll be less than. So x is less than, what, 1. Okay, that's A. 48 refers to the following graph of a straight line. Gradient of AB is, well, the coordinates of A is 2, 1. Let's call that x1, y1. Coordinates of B will be what? 6, 3. That's x2, y2. You know, formula for m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That'll be what? 3 minus 1 divided by, what's x2 minus x1? Be 6 minus 2. You get 2 on 4, and that'll reduce to half. So that's D. 49. F of x is 2x squared minus 1. What's f of minus 3? Plug in minus 3 into where x is. It'll be 2 by minus 3 squared minus 1. Minus 3 squared is 9, and 9 by 2 is 18. 18 minus 1 gives 17. That's C. 50 for the following graph of a quadratic function. Maximum point of y equal 4x minus x squared is. Maximum point, you can see I put a dot there, accounts for the coordinates 2, 4. That's D. 51. What is the gradient of the straight line 2y equal minus 3x minus 8? Simply put it, divide each term by 2 to make y the subject. You'll get y equal to minus 3x on 2 minus 8 on 2 is 4. Gradient is the value in front of x minus 3 on 2. That's B. Okay? Again, this is in the form y equal mx plus c. 52, refer to the following arrow diagram, shows the function. All right. Which of the following best describe the function? Well, if you realize quickly, if you add 3 to 2, you get 5. You add 3 to 5, you get 8. You add 3 to 8, you get 11. Add 3 to 11 is 14. So the output y is really your input, which is x, add 3. Essentially, that's A. 53. If each interior angle of a regular polygon is 60 degrees, then the polygon is a what? This was a little tricky. First thing I want to say, if your exterior angle is 60, your interior angle will be 180 minus the exterior. So it's 180 minus 60, in this case it's 120 degrees. Okay, knowing this, we can apply the formula where n minus 2 by 180 is the sum of the interior angles. And that'll be equal to 120 by n. Again, where n is the number of sides. All right, again, we do not know how much sides it is, so we're trying to figure out n. All right, n by 180 is 180n minus 2 by 180 is 360 equal 120n. Carry the minus 360 to your right, it becomes positive 360. Carry the 120n to your left, it becomes minus 120n. 180 minus 120n will give 60n equal 360. Then you divide 360 by 60 to get 6 sides. the shape that our polygon that accounts to 6 sides is a hexagon. Let's see, right? 54 refers to the following diagram. In the diagram, A, B, and C, D are parallel, which of the following best describes the relation between X and Y. We can see X and Y, they are alternate angles because they're on opposite sides of the traversal, and alternate angles are equal. So X is equal to Y, that's A. 55 for the following diagram of isosceles triangle, okay? Any triangle value of X is, well, X add 30 get you 180 degrees, some of the angles in a triangle. 30 is 60, 60 add X is 180, carry 60 across, be 180 minus 60 to get you 120 degrees for X, that's C. Image of a point P minus 2, 3 under translation 3, 4 is, so putting it in a matrix form, or if you're a vector form, however you want to term it, minus 2, sorry, on top, 3 below, add your translation vector, that's 3 on top, 4 below. What will be the coordinates, or what would be the vector for my image? Minus 2 add 3 is 1, and 3 add 4 is 7. As a coordinate, it'll be 1, 7 though. All right, that is D. 57 for the following diagram of two straight lines, okay, A, B, C, D. In the diagram above, the line CD is the image of AB after what? Well, AB is reflected about the y-axis to give you a CD. That's B. All right, then 58 for the following pair of similar triangles, okay. In the area of triangle ABC is 20 cm squared. What is the area of triangle MNO? Now, I want to say something here. You can see MN is half of AB. Okay, because 3 is half of 6. That doesn't mean that the area of the smaller triangle is half the area of the larger one. Because area has that square factor. And what I mean by that, it is, in this case, like height by base over 2. It is not directly translated as in half. Okay, instead, it'd be a half squared, which is a quarter. All right, so we find a quarter of the area of ABC, and that'll give you the area of MNO. All right, quarter of 20 is what? 5 cm squared. So it is not 10. Okay, area has that square factor in it because it's a length by another length brings that square factor. Okay, so instead of a half, in this case, it'd be a quarter. So it's a quarter of 20 get you 5 cm squared. All right, and that is C. 57, I did 59, refers to the following diagram which shows an enlargement. Okay, you want the scale factor of the enlargement. Well, AC is 2 blocks and A prime, C prime is 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the factor of enlargement is 2 about the origin O. That's C. And last one, we have the diagram. Diagram above, not drawn to scale, shows the angular depression of point X from these 30 degrees. Okay. If X is 10 meters from Y, okay, what's the height of YZ? That's this. Well, if here is 30, here will also be 30 alternate angles. Okay, and in turn, what can I say? Tan 30 degrees is opposite over adjacent. So tan 30 is YZ over 10. And the kindly 10 across, opposite divides multiply. 10 tan 30 is YZ, which is E. All right.